Hey guys, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. I'm going to go over things that help me bring the practice to the $1,000,000 mark and beyond. This is a recording of a day of patients on a Tuesday. I was in the office. So what I've realized is we have a newer office that's a few years old. It's in Westboro. So I'm there Mondays and Wednesdays. So those days just tend to be a little bit slower. So I'm just kind of letting you know how I think about things. So when I need to take like days off for my dad, bring him to appointments, things like that, I'm tending to do that. Now I'm setting up like all my like a routine dentist, things like that, on Mondays and Wednesdays because it's a little bit slower in the office and it's a little bit less of an impact for me taking those days off. If I'm in my other office, which is a lot busier, then it just affects the schedule a little bit more. So something to think about. I used to have a half day off. Or actually a full day off until I opened up the second office. So I would like to go back to that, but it's just not feasible right now with the two offices right now. Another thing that I've been working on in this new ModMed is setting up Qutenza in there, and I've realized that, like, not a lot of doctors around have gotten into Qutenza, and I think part of the challenge is getting it all set up, like, in terms of the organization. We have one staff member that is really just tasked with that. So she has to check on it, check prior authorizations. They have to make sure it's either a buy and bill, meaning we buy it and then we bill the insurance, or the patient picks it up at like a specialty pharmacy because they're kind of expensive. When they go out in terms of billing, I think it's $3,000 or $4,000, and then the application fee is about $500. So we get about $500 for that application fee, and then the medication is a lot more expensive than that. So we had a few, and the benefit and drawback of this new medical record. The benefit is that within an hour or two everything is billed out right away. The bad thing is I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of the billing yet, because I used to have someone else that was doing it, so I have to learn a little bit more. Like I forgot to put in the billing code for this person. Okay, and I only wrote down what I did for half the day, unfortunately, because the second half was just I was so stressed trying to get the notes done. But the first half went okay. So I'm still kind of working on it. The first patient was a 57-year-old. This is the left calcaneal beak fracture that's getting shockwave. She's starting to feel better. She's been able to be out of her cam boot a little bit. We gave it a long time to heal. She's very heavy, and it just the darn thing didn't heal. So versus surgical, non-surgical, she's number 3 out of 6 for shockwave to help with that. She's doing focused only shockwave. Next was a patient, 56-year-old female, for right hallux limitus. Got x-ray, kind of went through all of the treatments for hallux limitus, sent her my blog post on that, and then she'll kind of decide what she would like to do. If she would like to do that, do surgery or do orthotics. I was kind of moving her more towards orthotics. She already has like anatomic shoes and toe socks and things like that, so she's one of these motivated ones. Next was a 38-year-old fungus follow-up. So I did a booster dose for her, and then she had a left fifth med head wart. Actually, this is a man, 38-year-old man, left fifth med head wart, and I did Swift number 1 out of 4, and really the main reason he wanted Swift was because he didn't want the downtime. And I explained that with the blister, it's gonna blister up for 3 to 5 days with the cantharidin, and he really wanted the non-pain afterwards. So that's why he chose the Swift option. I'm finding more and more choosing the Swift, even because of the cantharidin and the high deductible, it ends up being about the same. So for those that are doing Swift, that's what you can do. Next was a 30-year-old female for a follow-up of orthotics. She's a PA student, or she just finished her PA program, looking for a job, and she has some Achilles tendonitis. I've done shockwave on her, done a lot of different treatments, but she's going to come back in 3 months to see how she's doing. She hasn't really worn them that much. Next was an 85-year-old female. This was a couple. There's this doctor that in town that retired, so he did mostly routine care, and so we're getting some of his patients that are coming this way, and so we're setting that in our routine schedule. So I'm really happy we have Marjorie my nail tech. So she's been even days when she's not helping me, she's going in there. If she's seeing another doctor, she'll see the routine and do the routine. She's doing much better with that. Next was a 76-year-old for Qutenza number 2. And so I had to fix the billing on that one. And then the last one that I wrote down was a 76-year-old patient. And you're going to laugh here, but I can't read my handwriting. what I wrote on my paper. And maybe you know what I mean. So I'm trying to write this down between patients. So what I also tried something else last night. I didn't stay later. I'm finding with this whole EMR switch, everything is a little delayed. So there's a little bit more waiting time during the day. There's a little bit more delay going from one patient to another. I'm staying a little bit later. So I used to be out about 4:30. Now I'm out at about 5. So everything's just kind of pushed back as the staff is learning things. So instead of doing my notes at the end of the day, so I left 3 notes for what I'm going to do it the following day. So I'm just kind of letting you know kind of my workflow because I didn't want to be more time away from home. I wanted to give an update. My dad is getting kind of in the groove with the adult daycare. So he calls it, we call it the senior center. He calls it the babysitter. So I think he's still a little resentful, but they say it's really good for his mental health versus watching TV all day. So I wanted to give you guys a follow up on that. So things are going well in that realm. The EMR, we're getting there. We are day number 16, and I think it's getting less bad. So I'm thinking by day 30, I'm going to really like it. There's still just like places. Mostly it's plans. Like plans, I have to figure out what plan I use for wounds. There's a couple of different plans. What plan I use for Qutenza. What other types of plans that I use, because there's like hundreds and hundreds of plans, and there's no like master plan, like outline of like all these plans that you can use within your note. So everything is kind of plan based. Morali is doing excellent job. Like when I'm getting stressed during the day, he is doing a great job at doing my notes. We have started to use a couple of protocols. We haven't used that many because we're trying to learn the system first before we make the protocols and not have to fix them. But we have a couple of them for like x-rays and things like that. So we are making it through, and I am working with Al. I think I told you we're kind of putting together like a small group mastermind. I think we're going to limit it to about 6 people for a few months and see how that goes, with kind of like a mastermind hot seat, and then kind of working on different goals for people. So if you're interested, 2 people have reached out to me. If you're interested, shoot me an email, don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. There should be something official kind of going out here via the email whenever Al can set that up. Al's the guy that does my newsletter now, just so you know. Okay, have a great day.